أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله، الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه وولاه سلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد, إن شاء الله, today we start with the book of أسرار الصلاة, the secrets of الصلاة by Imam Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala. And this book sheds light on the inner aspect. Everybody, subhanallah, focuses on the external aspect of Salah. External aspect of Salah. Give me a second here. Let me try something. La ilaha illallah. So everybody focuses on, as I was saying, everybody focuses on the external aspect of the Salah. External aspect of the Salah. And it becomes mechanics. It becomes like something routine. It becomes just moves, and nobody knows how they should feel. Most important thing is that you feel you are between the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this book here, Imam Ibn Qayyim more taking us to this spiritual realm. Like it's not just physical, and he is interpreting the physical aspect, how it should be understood spiritually, like how you taste of Salah. There is a taste for Salah, and he is drawing comparison between what people feel internally from something physical, like music. He says people listen to music, listen to singing, and it affects them internally. He says in the book, as you'll see, it affects them internally. So they listen to something physical. There's a sound, there's singing, there is dancing, there is music, and people hear that with their ear, and they experience this setting, and it affects them internally. So he's saying that effect or that impact can be achieved on a higher level, on a spiritual level, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What makes you happy in this dunya pleasures, and you feel satisfied and gratified inside, can be nothing compared to the real satisfaction with what Salah can invoke inside of you. So that's the point here. So he's saying, first thing, he says, this is the first chapter. He said, في الموازنة بين ذوق السماع وذوق الصلاة والقرآن. He said that the comparison between the taste of tasting the singing, سماع يعني hearing, listening. They call this as listening to music and singing. So the difference between that and the ذوق الصلاة والقرآن, tasting Salah and the Quran. And he is saying also in this chapter will show that they are completely different from each other, from every aspect and every perspective. And here's the dangerous part. And he said that when one of the two becomes stronger, for sure the other one becomes weaker. Again, he says that these two ways of pleasure or tasting the sweetness of one of the two, here is the Salah and the Quran on one side, and here is singing and music on another side. He's saying you taste both. But he said that when you are engaged and indulged in one, it is necessary. It's out of necessity. It's for sure this is going to happen. There is no doubt that the other one becomes weaker. So it's your choice. The more you listen and taste and enjoy this will become weaker. This will never be able to satisfy you. You're not going to get what you want. And if you are involved here more, this will never be able to satisfy you. SubhanAllah, he just answered a long pressing question for all of us. We don't know why people do not find the satisfaction in Salah and the Quran. Like they find it in watching their favorite movie or listening to a song or music or classical music or whatever it is. They feel that this gives them joy or gives them relaxation, and they can study better, they can perform better. Even sister, you can do your things better. The babies will sleep better, and you can do your chores better when you have your music on. That's actually what it is. The more you do that, yeah, you'll get some satisfaction. You get used to it. Your body will be wired to that. Your brain will be waiting for this. It's like drugs. You become addicted to it, and you are not going to find that relaxation in other way. Even the Quran and the Salah, you cannot find that in there, because this is so strong now, and it already controls your heart. Now you have to struggle, and you have to strive, and it is going to become very hard until you get the Salah and the Quran to do the same thing. And once it does, then you're not going to find it in the music and all the other ones. It's amazing how it is that he answered it just that simple. So he said, الصلاة قرة عيون المحبين وهدية الله للمؤمنين. Salah is قرة العين. قرة العين, this is the eye. قرة العين means the eye is happy looking at. And this is allegory or figure of speech, meaning it's comfort of the eye, meaning that gives me sakina, tranquility. So when he said, my children are my قرة العين, that means they are the reason of my comfort. Comfort of the eye means comfort of my heart. So الصلاة قرة عين المحبين. محب means the person who loves, the person who is in love. So Salah will be the satisfaction and the tranquility and the peace and the peak of happiness only for those who are in love with Allah Azza wa Jal. And it is the gift of Allah to the believers. So you love Allah so much, so Allah gifted you with a way to connect with Him. Consider it like that. And I want you to remember what I just said now. Just what I just said now, you're going to remember it, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you love Allah Azza wa Jal, then Allah give you a gift to connect with Him, which is Salah. So Imam Qayyim says, I want you to know that there is no doubt that Salah is the comfort of the eye of those who are in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is the pleasure for their soul, those who have Allah as the only one to be worshipped. And it is the garden, and it is the garden of the worshippers. And it is the pleasure of their nafs, those who submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is the real criteria that tests the truthfulness of the truthful. And it is the scale of those who are in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to weigh their sincerity, right? And it is the rahmah of Allah to all His believing servants. Allah Azza wa Jal guided them to the Salah. Allah Azza wa Jal introduced it to them, and Allah gave it to them as a gift on the hand of His beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, out of mercy to them. So out of Allah's mercy that He gave us the Salah, and out of Him honoring us, subhanahu wa ta'ala honoring us, How He honor us? With the salah, we get the honor, we get the dignity, we get the reputation that we are servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to get closer to Him, not because He needs us to be close to Him. No, He wants us to be close to Him, but He doesn't need us to be close to Him. We do need. But He favored, it's out of His favor subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is Allah's upper hand upon us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted our hearts to worship Him subhanahu wa ta'ala through the salah. And Allah Azza wa Jal make this salah the biggest share of the sincere heart. When the sincere heart is always going toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, going towards Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ يعني run and rush to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. سَابِقُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. Race with each other toward the forgiveness of Allah. سَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. You have to rush to the forgiveness of Allah Azza wa Jal. So for your heart to be present and always seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that in itself is ladha. Ladha يعني an enjoyment, it's a pleasure, something that a source of pleasure. Like people look for physical pleasures, this is a spiritual pleasure. It's another high, subhanAllah, another level of high, and highness, يعني you're up there in a realm or in a place that nobody have access to except you through the salah and through the recitation of the Quran, subhanallah. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, Ibn al-Qayyim said, when Allah tested us with shahwa, يعني lust and desire, physical lust and desire, there are some people who are involved in it, some people who are indulged in it, some people who are not. So out of His rahmah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and out His ihsan subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He make this feast for us, that He invites us to 5 times a day. This ma'dubah, يعني the feast or the gathering for food and socialization. So Allah Azza wa Jalla put on this feast and in this table every benefit, every nutrition that you want. So imagine that you are running and working and being exhausted physically and mentally and all of that. Then you come to a rest area where you can take a shower or a bath, and you can put on your best clothes and perfume, and you're refreshed. And then you find the exact food that will replenish your energy and will give you the nutrition that your body needs and all the nutrients that you lost in your exhausting job or during your exhausting day. You are invited to this 5 times a day. So you gotta go and do work, and knowing that nothing will be lost for you. You have the nutrition, you have the energy, you have the setting, you have the circumstances. So, and while you are in that feast or in that area, you are enjoying. It is not only eating without enjoyment, no, you are enjoying. That's why each of the actions, while you are enjoying that feast, it helps you overcome one of the exhausting actions that you have before. So salah is like that. Salah is that light. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us that his qurrat ayn is in the salah. His comfort of the eye is in the salah. Salah is light. It is energy. It's strength to your heart and your body. And it helps you also with the rizq. How does it help with the rizq? Who is the Razzaq? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the one who provides. Allah is the one who gives you health that you will use to work. And Allah is the one who gives you the brain that will use, and Allah will give you the intelligence that will get you higher status among people. Hence, you get rizq. So you become smarter, you understand your surroundings, you know what is needed from you. With the ability that Allah give you, you figure these things out. So Allah is the one who provides you. It's not like your paycheck is because you worked hard. But who give you the strength to work hard? Allah Azza wa Jal. You got promotion because you were smart and you did something for your job that you did not, nobody else did. Who give you that intelligence? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You put extra time and you worked overtime and you got paid more. Who gave you that time? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who put you in that situation? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And who can take all of that from you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So basically, that's what it means to say Allah is the Razzaq. Allah is the one who gave you all of that. Once you understand this, so when you stand in front of Allah in the Salah, that is the culmination of all of that. Now I'm meeting with my Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who created me. I'm meeting with the one who's providing me. I'm meeting with the one who's protecting me. I'm meeting with the one who gave me the health. Then Salah becomes like your charging port. Your charging port. That is what will make the whole being function. It's like you're charging an electric car or charging your computer, and all the functions of computer will happen because it's charged now. When it's out of charge, when your phone, the battery is dead, what good does it do? What good does it do? Nothing. But once you plug it in and it lights up, now you can start doing functions. That's what Salah does to you every time. So Salah, Noor. That's why Abdullah ibn Abbas said, Ta'a, any type of obedience to Allah is Nurun fil qalb, light in the heart. وَضِيَاءٌ fil wajh, it's brightness in the face. وَسَعَةٌ fil rizq, and it is expansion in your provision. وَمَحَبَّةٌ fi qulub al-ibad, and love in the hearts of people. So that's when you obey Allah. And the highest level of obeying Allah, or highest form of obeying Allah, is praying to Him. And the angels will be happy for a servant who is worshipping Allah and seek Allah's forgiveness and be proud of that servant of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Come and surround him and ask Allah forgiveness for him or for her. Not only the angels, the mountains and the trees, even the fish in the ocean, as Rasulullah said, will make istighfar to those who seek the knowledge and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything, it's like shaking your hand. Everything is like saying salam to you. Imagine, when you are in that level and of worshiping Allah Azza wa Jal, the earth you are walking on, it is happy that you are walking on top of it. The heaven and the clouds, it's happy that it is above you and covering you. The trees, they are happy that you are passing by them. Everything, subhanallah, but happy that a believer is walking. And that's why Allah Azza wa Jalla, when He said about the punishment of the disbelievers, He said, the heavens and earth did not cry for them. That means the departure of a worshipper, the departure of a believer from this dunya causes the earth and the heaven to cry, where you used to make the sujood to Allah Azza wa Jalla and the dua goes up. So that's why this creation of Allah all created, and they are happy that you, the child of Adam, you know your Lord, and you love Allah, and you are afraid of Allah, and you want to please Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the rest of the creation they want to serve you. They want to give you the best. The sun wants to warm you and give you light. The air wants you to breathe it, and the earth wants you to walk on it. And the plants and everything wants you to benefit from it. Subhanallah. And vice versa. Whoever is not worshipping Allah, everything curses them. So imagine now, if you go to a feast like that, once you finish, you are satisfied, you are happy, you're dressed in the best way possible, your nutrition can show in your face and your energy, and you do not need anybody else. Before you come here, your heart was thirsty, your heart was hungry, your heart was tired and exhausted from the challenges and the turbulence of this world. So you find everything here. Then Imam al-Qayyim, he resembles the heart to land, to soil, to earth. So he said that the reasons of famines and the reasons of dryness of the heart keeps coming all day long on everybody. That's why it is the rahmah of Allah that 5 times a day that you keep going for maintenance, you keep going back, so this dryness doesn't happen. That's why I tell people, like, it's too much dryness if you gather all the salawat at night, for example, or you pray in the morning and that's it. Then you are exposed to this dryness of this world. It would not be enough. Once will not be enough. So that's why those times come in the salah to keep watering that land or that heart, so it does not dry for a minute. That's why it is renewable energy. It's renewable energy. So you need to stand in front of Allah Azza wa Jal like that. So your heart becomes moisturized, your heart becomes satisfied. And every time you stand in front of Allah, you're asking for that rain, you're asking for those clouds of mercy to come and, bring the rain down on your heart. And then with that, the vegetation or the pasture of Iman and the Ihsan will come out. Those are the fruits of this rain on that heart, this rain of guidance, of happiness and love of Allah Azza wa Jal comes on that heart that is sincere and seeking Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the fruit of that is what? Iman and Ihsan. That you become a generous person, that you become someone who wants to help and affect their surroundings. What is that dryness of the heart? It's heedlessness, ghafla. It is like the earth or the soil becomes dry with the lack of water. So the heart, with the lack of salah and connection with Allah, they become heedless. They sleeping. As long as you are in the dhikr of Allah, mentioning Allah, as long as you are always seeking Allah, you are waiting for the next salah, you are excited to recite more Quran, then the rain is continuous. It does not give a chance for dryness of the heart. And the more heedless a person becomes, the more dry their heart, the more abandoning salah, delaying salah, abandoning Quran, not reading much of the Quran, going away from the dhikr. That is no wonder what is happening to us. There's no wonder what is happening to us. Like, we find it hard to come to the masjid, hard to start prayer, hard to wake up in the morning, hard to open the Quran and recite. Why? Why it is not hard to read pages and pages of books that doesn't have any wisdom in it? Why it is not hard to watch a 2-hour movie and you cannot hold the Quran for 2 hours? 2 hours you can read 3-4 juz of the Quran. If you watch a movie twice a week, that's about 4 or 5 hours. 4 or 5 hours you can read half of the Quran, half, or at least read 5 juz in 4 or 5 hours. If you're going to take 1 hour per juz, see how much time we're wasting. Yesterday there was Quran students. I was talking to them, some of the Quran Ijazah students, and one of them was complaining. He said, I study a lot, I come late from the university and all of that. I said, okay, what time you come from the university? He said, I finish by 5 o'clock. I said, okay, you come read here by 7. I said, Sheikh, it's too much. I said, okay, listen. If your college classes, instead of finishing by 5, it finishes by 7, what would you do? Say, I'll attend it. I said, see, so the issue is, like, you'll always find time for what you need and what you want. Like, you always find time. That's one way to look at it. Like, every time you give an excuse not to worship Allah, not to come to the masjid, not to pray, not to read Quran, ask yourself, if my work gives me an assignment that I have to do, forget about money, then you got to do it. You have no option because you know you're going to lose your job. But we're not worried about losing Allah's rida, Allah's pleasure, subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're not worried about that. So the other way to look at it is have a piece of paper and write your typical day. Describe, just go about your day normally and write it. I woke up in the morning and write in front of it what time. Let's say 6:30, just random number, 6:30 in the morning I woke up. 6:45, I'm done with the bathroom and all of that. 7 o'clock, I ate breakfast. 8 o'clock, I was at work. I'm just giving you like random stuff at work. And I worked like such and such and such and such. I took a break at like 11:30 and I did this, I did this. And then I was in traffic for that much time. And then I came home. After I came home, I watched TV and I talked with my spouse, I talked with my children. Then, I made dinner or I made whatever you do, just write down everything, every action that you do, write it down, even if it's silly. I was on the couch, lying on the couch for 45 minutes, doing nothing. Something like that. Write it down. I do that for a week. Do it for a week. And then go back again and read those things. Have a marker. The things that was ultimately necessary, you have to wake up in the morning, okay? Put red line. You have to eat your meal, put a red line. Oh, I took a snack or whatever, put a green line or a yellow line. It's not necessary. So put yellow on the things that is not necessary. So if you miss it, it doesn't matter. You don't miss it. Orange, that is something that you like to do, but you can live without. Green is basically, it doesn't make any difference. Yellow, it is like something that you like to do, but you can live without. Orange, borderline. But red is something that you got to do. Orange is something like it makes you better. It improves your quality of life. So red is necessity. Orange is something that improves your quality of life, makes you perform better and all of that. And then, yellow is things that you can live without, but you still like to have them. And green, it doesn't matter whether you have it or not. So red is the fard. Orange is the sunnah or nafil. Yellow is the mustahab, preferable. And the green is jaiz, you're allowed to have. That's in the spiritual realm, or ibadah realm, and that's the dunya realm. Okay? So now, I want you to create those two lists based on your actions. So anything that ibadah or worship or good deeds, you put it on the list of the spiritual. And anything like dunya, like work, like money making, like, enjoyment of the pleasure, having friends, going around, eating, sleeping, all of that, you put it in this dunya. I hope I'm clear, sisters, so far. And then I want you to see, put the spiritual one aside now. Now you wrote everything in it, just put it in the side. And let's see the dunya one. And write a time value in front of each. Okay? So you sleep for 7 days. Now you wrote what time did you go sleep, what time you woke up. Deduct the time. So you slept here 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Count all of those, add them together, and divide them by 7. It will give you the average sleeping hours per day. So you're going to say sleeping, that is 7 or 8 hours per day out of 24. And then food has been 3 hours every day. Right? 3 hours every day, whether you're a sister preparing or not preparing or working or buying, whatever. Any time concerning food, eating and preparing, you write it down. All right? And then social life. You talk to the phone, you watch the TV, that write it down. How many hours during the week? And then you divide by 7. How many hours you talk to your family? That's a good deed part. You put it there in the good deed. Right? How many times did you go to the masjid or attended a class like this one? That's a good deed part for your akhirah, for your humanity and all of that. Put in the good sheet, the other sheet of the good deeds and the spiritual and worship and all of that. And then go do the same with the other sheet, time value. What are the necessary things? 5 times a day? Prayer, like how much is it? You put it per week. Right? And then how much of the nafil you do, charity you do, this and that. If it has a money value, put money value. I give charity every month $10. So that's per day is how much. I give this per year. So that's how per day, that's how much. Try to do that. Money value. Money value in the dunya, money value in the other one. You'll be surprised. You will be surprised when you see how much time you invest in the dunya, not in the necessary things, and how much time you invest in the akhirah in the necessity things. You'll be surprised. You will see, like here, we're talking minutes that dedicated to the fard, minutes. And in here, you will see hours dedicated to the green and the yellow. Hours. So that's one way to look at things. When I did that like a few years back, and I made the list for myself. This is my own patent. I made that list for myself. I was shocked. I said, why am I overwhelming myself? Like, oh, I'm so exhausted. Like, why? I do lots of driving. Is this driving necessary? Okay, it is necessary. Then I'm going to benefit from the driving, and I'm going to listen to lectures because I cannot read while I'm driving, and I cannot watch while I'm driving. So I'm going to listen to audiobooks and lectures and explanation of books and things like that from scholars. So I'm going to use my driving time that it is 3-4 hours every single day. Every single day. I used to drive about 3-4 hours every single day. Gather together. So if I said that the times that I drive between my home, older home, and the masjid, and going, to downtown and going to the Sugar Land and going here and going there, for good, for necessary things or not necessary things, still I'm driving the kids here and there. Then I said, no, I until I fix that, I have to I have to use that time, which is going to waste, which I did. Now, when my driving habit changed, then my schedule opened up more. So I have 3-4 hours became 2 hours only, or 1.5 hour only, 1 hour only driving. Then I have 3 hours saved, and I'm going to use them. Then I'm going to divide them among the dunya and the akhirah sheets, So that's something that I want you to reflect on and make it like a homework. Make it your homework. That have this sheet, and have this color-coded things. If you want to share it, you're most welcome. That's fine, but it's only for you. Like, red is necessity things in this dunya. You have to work, you have to take care of your children, you have to take care of your husband, you have to do this, you have to do that. That's necessities. That's the red. And you will see what if you are doing it or are failing or you're not doing it enough. Because you're going to put time value on it and the money value on it. And then orange things that they are important stuff in your life, but they're improving the quality of your life. Yeah, spending some time with your spouse and, studying with your children and doing like things that you don't have to do. Somebody else can do it, but you prefer to do it. And then yellow are the things that you can live without, but you like to have them around. You like to have certain pieces of furniture at home and this and that. It's fine. This is the culture. This is how people are. You need a couch, you eat this, but you can live on the floor. But you have those. But the green is like if you have it or don't have it. Like you're having a vase in the living area. So you have a vase or you don't have a vase, but it's taking part of your life. It is taking that space there. You spend money on it. If it is not there, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? Nothing. No difference at all. So you arrange things in that order: green, yellow, orange, and red. And then you come to the akhirah. Whatever red is the things that you have to do as a Muslim, you got to do. You got to pray 5 times a day. You got to give your zakah. If you are qualified, you got to do this, you got to do that. Those are under red. And you see how much you do that every day. And orange is like sunnah muakkada, things that you have to do. But you're not going to be punished if you don't do it. But they add up. They change the quality of your life. They closer to Allah. Do the sunnah and the nafl and the tahajjud and all of that. And then you come to the yellow things. Yellow. Yeah. Those are the things that it is preferable. Preferable. You need to finish Quran every 10 days. You need to finish Quran every month. It's good. You cannot be a good Muslim without it, but you're a better Muslim with it. See? And then the green is jaiz stuff. Jaiz means permissible. It's permissible to walk, hike, do that, permissible. And it is not, but it can be haram if you are going to use it in the wrong way. It can be preferable. It can be fard. Anything which is permissible can take any other ruling, can become from haram to fard. It is jaiz. Marriage is permissible, but marriage can be haram if someone is going to transgress the person that they're getting married to, or they are going to do it in a wrong way. But marriage can be fard, obligation. If the person who's going to get married is going to commit haram and they are able to do marriage as an alternative, so they have to do marriage as an alternative. So that's permissible in the green here. And then you will switch the hours. You'll see, I'm spending 3-4 hours every day doing nothing, basically. I don't know where are they wasted. 10 minutes here, 7 minutes there, 15 minutes there. Why? Why when I finish in the masjid, I go stand outside in the parking lot for 15 minutes talking to somebody about nothing, like nothing of importance. I should have either stayed in the masjid, did dua, and they read some Quran, and then leave those 15 minutes extra, or I go home and sleep 15 minutes extra. It will help me. See? But you leave the masjid now and you go home and watch a movie, like why? Like what does that do? Actually, it's very bad. It looks very bad. If you watch a movie, then come to the masjid, feel that you're cleaning up. But you're at the masjid, then you go home and watch a movie and popcorn and everything for the rest of the night. And you should finish on a high note with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam Ibn al-Qayyim is telling us that, the more you give to your heart from that rain of guidance and the Quran and the Salah, the harder it becomes to have famine or dryness. And the more you give it of the dunya, the harder Salah becomes. This is the point why it's very hard. I'm struggling to wake up in the morning. So everybody said, "Well, I sleep early, Sheikh, every day. I sleep 8 hours, but it's very hard for me to do Fajr." I said, because you don't get it. You don't get it. There are two powers here. One, that your heart gets satisfied with singing and music and social and friends and the phone and the TV and all of that. That is what gives you pleasure, right? And there is another person, what gives them pleasure is the Salah and the Quran and the Masjid and being with the pious and righteous and being good to their parents and all of that. They get the satisfaction from that. There are two people here. This first one, it's very hard to get pleasure from other than what the heart is used to. And the other one is the same thing. It's very hard. You try to tell this person who comes to the masjid and the salah and all that, listen to this song. He said, no, I don't want to listen to. It's going to disturb my heart. And it will. But if he struggles and he push himself to listen one time, and then he listen next time, and listen the third time, then it becomes stronger and the spirituality becomes weaker. Same thing for the other person. He is so used to all these pleasures to drag him to the masjid or to do salah, or a person who's singing and all of that. You come and tell them pray tahajjud, they don't even pray fard. What are you talking about? So they got to struggle a lot until they do the necessity, and they struggle more to do this one, they struggle more to do the nafil. Then the fard becomes very hard to abandon. Then when you use tahajjud, sunnah is very hard to abandon. Then when you fast Monday and Thursday, it's very hard to abandon the Quran. It's very hard to abandon the dhikr. Yeah? And it becomes very, very hard to put anything of the worldly pleasures in it because the heart is full. That's why Imam Ibn Qayyim said there are two sultan. The sultan, yani the king or the emperor. You cannot have two sultans in one place. You can't. This kingdom has to have one sultan at the end. That one sultan. If the other one, he tells them, okay, you are welcome, you are the other sultan, one of them have to defeat the other. They cannot rule. One has to have the final word. The other one has to surrender. That's what it is. So you have to decide which one that you make surrender. Inshallah, we'll stop here and we'll talk next time how the heart will become dry and stiff if it is empty from the dhikr of Allah. So those who do dhikr of Allah hundreds of times every day, their hearts are stronger than those who do tens, those who do ones, those who do only after salah, those who do not do at all. Their heart becomes stiff. It's very hard. Like, bones are stiff because it's not moving. Somebody break their arm, they put in the cast, it's very stiff. They have to do physical therapy until they are able to. So we'll stop here, inshallah, and we continue bi-idhnillah ta'ala next week with this beautiful book of Asrar As-Salaah, The Secrets of Salah by Imam Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
Jazakum Allah khairan for listening. Go for Zuhr, inshallah.
Jazakallah, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.